Hi everybody, this is Christian Zimmerman with another question of reason. Can we mix religions?
Yeah, let me explain to you a chart here I came up with myself, but it's really easy to understand. You can categorize with this chart basically the major religions of today. And it's really based on questions you ask a person, and then you find out basically which group they belong to. And the two major questions are, do you believe in reincarnation? So reincarnation means after you die, you believe that you come back to this world as a new animal, a new being, plant or actually also human. So do you believe that, yes or no, or actually don't know is a valid answer? And then the second question you ask somebody is, how many gods do you believe in? And you could say, well, don't want to answer, or you can say, don't know, or any such things. And then you end up in this lower row. But as soon as you answer with a number, well, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. You can also believe in an infinity of gods. But you see how those rows are for those answers, and it's really not possible to answer, for instance, 0.5 gods. So there's those rows and columns, and you end up in those squares, whichever answer you give to those two questions. And now we also have a time counter that tells us when which ideas became more prevalent. So we start with minus 9999, that is prehistoric. Prehistoric means, yeah, that's just before any history was written. And I would claim that's the folk religions. And yeah, I have to simplify a bit here, sorry for that. Also throughout the whole presentation, of course, this is simplified a bit. But I believe folk religions didn't have a concept of reincarnation, and generally you can say they believed in more than one god. So that is this rectangle there. Now we go to the year 2000 BC. This is the start of the Abrahamic religions. So Abraham believed in one God and didn't believe in reincarnation. Why don't we call this monotheism? Because it's actually a subgroup of monotheism. As it turns out, you can also believe in reincarnation and one God. So monotheism is just this middle row where Abrahamic religions are a subsection of this. They don't believe in reincarnation. Okay, let's go on. 500 BC. In 500 BC, in India, there were a few religions evolving that all believed in reincarnation. And some of those religions believed in 0 gods. So that's this lower left rectangle, but then they also were divided amongst each other concerning another question, and this question was, is the soul existing and eternal? And some said yes, and that's the Jainists, and some said no. So I don't really know how that works, because you have no soul, but still you are reborn after you die in another body. I don't know how that works, but anyway, that's the Buddhists. And of course, there's the belief in many gods in Hinduism, but all of those believe in reincarnation. Now we jump to the year 0, where Jesus appeared, and it is in the New Testament claimed that he is God's son, very clearly. And that means more activity here. So is Jesus God's son is a sub-question you have to ask all those people of the Abrahamic religions. And some will say yes, that's the Christians, and some will say no. And well, in the first century that was the Jews. But now, of course, also Mohammed comes and claims to know that Jesus is not God's son. Now you cannot just say, well, that's the Jews, because you also have to decide whether Mohammed is a real prophet. So you have this question, is Mohammed a prophet, no or yes? This is interesting because this is not a new position. religiously is just to confirm or not that this and this man also believes this and is a prophet. If you don't believe that Muhammad is a prophet, although you believe everything in this section, you're a Jew. But if you then also believe that Muhammad is a prophet, although there's no doctrinal change, you are belonging to Islam. Now we jump to the year 1500, where there's the first syncretist world religion evolving. And this is those who said, well, let's encompass the Indians who believe in reincarnation and somehow the Middle Easterners who believe in one God. And let's all be together and have peace. So let's fill this void there in this upper left rectangle. You can still fill and form Sikhism. So while technically Sikhism is not a syncretist religion, because you can just say, well, that's my view, this upper left rectangle, that's my view. It is a mix of former religions, and there is just those elements of, well, whatever you liked in your former religion, you will find this again, maybe mixed with others, but you find your most cherished idea in Sikhism. So let's jump again to the year 1700, where atheism was popularized amongst Europeans, but then also in the whole world. And now there's still actually a space to be filled. Do you see that, this L-shaped white space there? You can fill with another religion, that is Baha'i in 1850. Now, what did they say? They said, well, let's not care about whether Jesus is God's son. But they said something else too. They said, well, whether you're a Jew or a Buddhist or a Hinduist or a Muslim, let's just all gather in one building and worship the one God. And those people found this such a beautiful idea that people of all kinds can now come together in unity and worship the one God. Now, this idea is maybe beautiful, but is it also logical? I mean, think about it. How can a Buddhist who claims to believe in zero gods worship with the Baha'i who claim that there is one God? So, what do the Baha'i actually tell us? They say, well, they didn't even mean it when they answered the question, we believe in zero gods. They didn't really mean that, they actually meant we don't care. But no, they meant it. And how can a Christian who definitely means it, that Jesus is God's son, worship together with somebody who definitely means it, that Jesus is not God's son?
All right, to conclude, can we mix religions? Obviously, yes, because since the 1500s there are even religions you can adhere to that are basically just mixtures from other religions. And even, yes, because today it seems so modern to take from every religion what just fits you personally. But really, let me dismiss you today with two thoughts to chew on a bit. So, first thing, if God did reveal his message to us, then why mix it with other things that are not his message, but just ideas of people, really? Why mix it? Also, if the idea actually appeals to you that somehow all religions are the same and let's just worship under one roof, I mean, why do you declare the differences in the answers people made as differences we don't care about? Don't you take their right away a bit of freely choosing what they believe and how they decide, how they answer those questions? In saying, well, yeah, they actually didn't mean as decisively those 0 or 1 number in gods they believe in. So don't you answer for them. That's just a thought. But yeah, maybe you chew on this, and definitely thanks for watching. It was pleasant to have you. Maybe see you in the next video. All the best. Bye.